Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Only Leeds Bros for the match reaction. Leeds United won, Harrogate Town nil. FA Cup third round, and Leeds United do throw their name into the fourth round of the Cup. We're joined by the brother Dillo, as always, Sean from Wilco Whites, and Evie from Discourse of Peacocks. Evie, we'll come to you first. What did you make of that one? Leeds United have their hat in the next round.
I
Convincing
mean,
or unconvincing?
we made hard work of it, didn't we? We were determined to miss as many opportunities as we possibly could. I think Ramazani looks sharp, and I'm glad that he got his goal. Gnonto, there's more question marks than answers, I think, really. Joseph was just, he was so, I really felt for him, the human side of me kind of taking the actual Leeds fan and putting that aside on the human level. You could just see his frustration. Like it was just all, he was trying so hard. And in the end, he was actually sacrificing chances for the rest of the team in order for him to try and get his goal kind of thing so that he can put his, hat back in the ring kind of thing. But I think that game has potentially come at the perfect time for us. And by that, I mean that obviously we've got a transfer window. I think it shows we need a 10, we need a 9, we need a right centre back. I don't think that we can get away from that because I love Gilavogi, but I never want to see him in centre back again. Like he gave me kittens. I'm not gonna lie. He did grow into the game, but he needed like 10 minutes at the beginning of both halves in order to actually get in the game. And I don't think it was a pen. I'm sure we'll come on and talk about that.
Yeah.
But I genuinely, even looking, I'm quite good at looking, being a little bit more pragmatic and not just being, of course, it wasn't a
Leeds, yeah.
pen because, I'm a Leeds fan. I'm usually pretty kind of good. And I think it would have been soft, but we've seen it given for less.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree, Evian. It's one of them probably in the Premier League. You go back and you look at it, and it's one of them that it might be given and might not be given. It's different from the Joseph because I've seen a couple of things online from the time that we were off air from the watch along, which wasn't much. And I seen online some people saying that Harrogate were very unlucky not to get a penalty. Then I see some people saying, well, look at the Joseph one that we got as well. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. It's one of them. I think if it's off, we don't give it. And I think that's the way football's given. I think if we give penalties for them, then any kind of touch in the box, then once you go down, then it's given a penalty as well. So yeah, for me, again, it might be the Leeds hat on. I thought it was very soft, but I thought Harrogate gave a very good account of themselves today.
Absolutely.
League Two side down the bottom of the League Two, not even up there challenging, very much nearly a conference side. I think they're only 5 points off the bottom, the relegation positions, and then their counterparts have a game in hand as well. So for me, I thought they gave a very good account of themselves today, but I just thought I don't think it was a penalty, and they didn't really show much more than that. Sean, we will come to you, buddy. Leeds did 1-0. We have our name in the hat in the next round. Are you convinced, or what's your thoughts?
Convinced with the team. Not today. I thought there were too many. Well, maybe there were too many changes. A lot of players not had minutes under the belt, a bit rusty. We saw that with Gilavogi, even Caldalo, even though he did nothing wrong. A punch wanted from one of the corners, and
yeah,
still a bit rusty for me. I haven't played a lot of minutes. Again, what Evie said, Gilavogi, I don't want to see him in defence ever again. Honestly, yeah, he were first half. He just looked out of place as well for me.
Yeah.
Really clumsy with his tackles. I'd rather see him further up the pitch, and he can make them mistakes up further up the field. As for the penalty, I agree. It wasn't. I think I said it in one of the comments on your live. The striker's body language for me, his feet come together. It looks like he's going for the dive to dive down. So it does look like a bit of a dive for me. And it would have been soft. There was a slight touch, but nothing that I thought should have been given. I mean, if we had VAR, maybe they'd have had a different view of it. But from what I saw, no, it definitely wasn't. It was okay. again, we just huffed and puffed a little bit. Joseph snatching at chances. I think he's trying too hard. He's putting too much pressure on himself. Every time he misses a chance, he looks dejected with himself. I think he's putting too much pressure on himself, and he needs to just relax. And I just wanted him to get two goals today, 1 or 2 goals today, and it just lift that weight off his shoulders completely. And I think we'd see a different player, but it's not happened for him, has it? And I think it's plain to see we need another number 9 to back up with Pirro. Definitely.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sean. Dillo, we come to you, buddy. Obviously, it's not too long since we spoke. We can imagine it's going to be similar to what you said. Like that, we did win the game. Only 1-0. Not very convincing against a League 2 side. Are you happy we're in the hat, or are you a little bit disgruntled with the way we played?
Yeah, look, I'm the same as what I said at the start. I'm more just concentrating on the league, if I'm being honest with you. I consider that as a friendly today for me. A friendly that wasn't too good. I think we created a lot of chances. Same thing that was as it is in the championship. We don't put it away early, or we don't, score many. But great to see Gilavogi. Great to see Schmidt. Schmidt for me was man of the match. I just thought he was immense. He grew into the game. First few minutes, he was, it took him a while, but he was quality after that. But after great Gilavogi, definitely not a centre half. 110% not. He just looks, I don't know, he's mad looking, even the way he runs. He's just mad. But like to see him that he was on. Good to see Gruev back as well. Look, going into the next round, it is what it is. My fear is, I know we were joking on the watch along about getting scum and stuff, and like if it happens, I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think we have enough players in this squad, you could say, to compete. Considering if we get injuries, like we can't be solely relying on an FA Cup or the league. But look, it is what it is. I'm happy we're through the next round. I'm happy we won. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to put a damper on the mood, but I'm more interested in getting out of this league than I am the FA Cup. Is Darren gone there now? I don't know where he's gone to, but he's off anyway. He's had enough. He's had enough. He's listening to my negativity all day. That's what it is.
He got deeply offended and just couldn't handle it anymore.
Just couldn't take it anymore. Just could not take it anymore.
I've enough. Sorry about that. That's it. I went. No, I did hear what you're saying. Yeah, no, look, I agree with you 100%. The next one that I want to talk about, obviously, is the big one. Carl Darlow and Nets didn't have much to do, but what he did have to do, Evie, I'm going to come to you as well. What did you make of Darlow's performance, and is it enough to start against Sheffield Wednesday?
Under normal circumstances, that shouldn't be enough to get you a start in the league. But for me, it was enough to get a start in the league. He made some basic saves. And unfortunately, that's been the bit that Meslier has struggled with over the last 2 seasons. Well, no, maybe the last 3 seasons. But he saved that shot when we gave it away quite open, quite near the back. I think it was Ampadu that gave it away, and he made the save. He made he stayed alert when I genuinely think with Mellier's frame of mind right now, I don't think he makes that save. Yeah. And it wasn't that Darlow did anything major, and in fact, there was a couple of times when ball came in, I think, from a free kick, and it like pinballed around, and I was shouting and screaming at the screen because of the fact I was like, a pinball situation, anybody has the wrong touch on that ball, it's in the net, and the goalkeeper can't really do anything about it. And I thought, this is what's going to happen. He's going to come, it's going to go in, and it's not actually going to be his fault, but that's going to be enough for Meslier to get back in again. Whereas I think Darlow did enough to give Farke something to think about at least. He did make the basics right. And Darlow was playing with an unusual back four. We've never had that back four play together, and he still kept a clean sheet. I know it was against Harrogate, but we lost, was it Crawley Town that we lost 3-0, and they had a Towie star as well come on right at the end. So like we've had some disastrous fixtures. They're closer to us than Crawley Town were when they beat us 3-0. So I think he did enough. The midfield was different. The back four was, the entire team was different, and he still did enough, in my opinion, to give him a chance.
Yeah, Evie, look, I agree as well. Sean will obviously come to you straight away with Darlow's performance. For me, I agree with Evie. What Evie said, it was just the basics. It was a basic goalkeeper. He didn't do anything outstanding. Again, it's against a League Two side. But he just done the basic goalkeeper. What's your thoughts on Darlow tonight?
I've been calling for Darlow for a while. You know I have.
You have.
Yeah, he came out to try and punch a corner and sort of missed, or it didn't be right. And then there were a kick out, which went to one of the Harrogate players. It's no different to what Melly has been doing.
Yeah. I was just winding you up, Sean. I was winding you up.
No. No different at all to what Melly has been doing. And he did everything else fine. I thought he did pulled off a good save when he came rushing out. He had to get that spot on, and he did. Farke's got to put him in for Sheffield Wednesday.
Do you think so? Is that it for you? Yeah.
Yeah, for me, he's done nothing wrong. And again, he's hardly played this season. He's played more minutes for Wales than he has for Leeds United. So again, it's that bit of rushness. He needs some game time. Get back up to match fitness. Well, not match fitness, but up to speed. Again, what Evie said, with a proper defence in front of him, and I think he'd be fine. I've got no worries. I feel more confident with Darlow in goal than I do with Meslier in goal. And that's where I've stood on it all season. Because
I remember you telling me in the middle, even before the Meslier disaster, that we had a hole, and we were kind of turning around saying, look, it was the Sunderland one, he'd be all right, he hasn't been too bad. But I remember you banging on about it in the middle. You were saying Meslier is not good enough. So you have been banging on about it for a while to get Meslier out. Dillo, we'll come to you. Darlow's performance tonight, is it warranted enough to start?
Yeah, look, going back to the Meslier situation, you know, he's just made too many errors, lads. You know, and it hasn't just been at Sunderland or Hull. It's been throughout the season. And he, as you said, he hasn't just been doing the basics. Darlow has, in this game anyway. You know, and I feel like he was commanding his box a bit more. You know, you know, we've been saying about Meslier just being that bit more of just a commander, owning the box. It's yours, and that's my ball. You know, he went to save one, Darlow, and he kind of missed it and fumbled, but it was cleared. Look, it's going to happen, but he just seems like he knew what he was at a bit more, as opposed to looking at Meslier when he just, I don't know what Meslier just been flapping around. He reminds me a lot of that game. Was it Flappy Bird, remember? That's what I'm going to start calling Meslier.
God, yeah.
That's exactly what I'm going to start calling him. Just because he just flaps around the box, if I'm being honest. But yeah, look, he should be. Like, if I make a mistake in my job too many times, you know, my boss isn't going to ring and say, yeah, we're going to keep you. Put your arm around me, everything's going to be okay. Here's your P45 and you're sent out the door. So, you know, like at the end of the day, Darlow wasn't doing anything wrong. If anything, he's doing something right, so why not give him a chance? But it's not going to happen. Farke's just going to throw Meslier back in the mix again. You know?
Yeah, I agree. And it's mad because I think the rhetoric from most Leeds fans after that is, let's try Darlow. Let's see how Darlow does. And again, look, it's like what Evie said, it's against a League Two side. And you will have some fans going, well, yeah, it doesn't really count. You know, he done all right. It's against a League Two team. I actually thought he done all right. He done the basics okay. He made his saves. His catching was okay. His kicking was okay. It's better than what Mellier's done the last couple of weeks. And I think Meslier is very low in confidence. So I just think for us and Leeds in general, it's probably the right decision for Farke just to take him out of the firing line, put Darlow in for a couple of weeks, see how he gets on. If it's not going right, well then okay, when Meslier comes back in and with kind of the big boy gloves on, right, I'm back here now. But there is a comment here that I do want to touch on, lads. Willy Gnonto has been great for us over the last couple of weeks. So I did start from John Redmond. How bad was Gnonto tonight? Evie, I'll come to you first. He hasn't been great the last couple of weeks, has he?
No, he hasn't been great for a long time, really. If you think about it, the last time he came on and actually affected a game was the Swansea game.
Yeah.
You know, and even then, that was probably, there'd been quite a few games before that Swansea game where, as well, his decision making just right at the final decision wasn't fantastic. You know, I don't know. It's just really difficult because you can tell there's class there, but I do think that we have a tendency as Leeds fans to big up our players and almost put them on a pedestal to the point where, unfortunately, when you put people on a pedestal, the only way that they can go is down. And that is what has happened to Gnonto, you know, after the Cardiff game 2 years ago, the Man U game, the part that he played in the Liverpool second goal at Anfield. All of these things are what we remember. And actually, he hasn't been as fantastic as we're making him out to be. And I think the fact that nobody came in for him during the summer with a decent enough offer, you know, because if we get offered 20 million for him in summer,
He's gone,
his head's completely turned, and we probably can hold out for more for Archie Gray. Well, I know his was a release clause, but maybe Kamara or, you know, somebody else we can hold out a little bit and say, you know, we don't need to sell you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I don't think, no matter what the situation, I don't think at the end of the season, Meslier or Gnonto will be here, regardless of whether we go up or not, because I actually think we could get better in the Premier League than Gnonto.
Yeah, me too. And it sounds like a bold statement, Evie, though, doesn't it? Because we remember Gnonto in the Premier League. He was probably that shining light when we signed him, which was a very, very late signing. We signed him as a striker. He came in under Jesse Marsh, and we were all told that he's not Premier League ready. He starts then on the left side, like that, involved in the Liverpool goal, very much gets into the Leeds side. We all think very highly of him. Like, it goes from here up to here, as you expect from like Leeds fans. So he has had that expectation here from Leeds fans, but it's a little bit like Meslier, isn't it? This situation, he's gradually just been dropping and dropping and dropping. So yeah, I'm on the same thoughts as you. I think if we go to the Premier League, I think we need a little bit better than Willy Gnonto. And it sounds bold to say that, but I think it is the truth. Sean, we come to you. What's your thoughts, buddy, on Willy Gnonto and how he's been performing today, and especially this season so far?
Yeah, it's not been up to scratch, has it? It's not been what we're all expecting. I mean, this season we thought he were going to take that role over of Somerville, and he's been the main man this year, and maybe he thought it himself. And I've said it before, and Dillo, you know, I do think he plays for himself.
Yeah,
I do think he still wants to move away from the club. I mean, nothing's, you know, he hasn't said anything. Does he play better in the Premier League? That's as daft as it sounds. Is it
No,
just?
I agree.
Is it just a struggle? Is he just struggling in the Championship because you're coming up with low blocks, bigger, harder defenders? Or
I agree with you, Sean. Yeah.
Maybe he would be better in the Premier Leagues. And do we sell him if somebody come in 20 million? Yeah, let him go. But then on the other hand, like I've just said, he's only young, and if we do go up, he might flourish again. You know, he might really impress again. So I think for me, we keep him. But down to him, I think I'm like what you guys have said. I think he wants to leave, and he thinks he's probably better than what he is, or better than what he should be. And I still believe he thinks he should have been playing in the Premier League now, like Somerville and Rutter. But he's not proving it. And again, he'll be out at team versus Sheffield Wednesday. Dan James straight back in. So that's where I touch on it. I mean, obviously, there's been links to Saudi today. There's been a report about Saudi.
Yeah.
Crazy. If we're going to believe that,
why would he go there? You know, like, that's just killing your career completely dead. You might as well stay in the Championship. You know, you're clearly
if you went there,
only in it for the money.
It'd be for money only.
Yeah.
Money only, 100%, yeah.
Definitely. But
yeah, agree, Sean.
I can't see it myself. But
don't you think it'll come out in summer that obviously he signed a new contract? Don't you think one of those release clauses will come out no matter whether we go up or stay down.
Yeah,
They
absolutely,
will come out in the summer because, if all of this, him believing that he's better, is all his own fault. If he'd have just got his head down last season and played like Rutter did, like Somerville did, he'd have got his move, because he'd have been part of it. So it's his own, lesson that he needs to learn. But yeah, he's a difficult one because that there's talent there and that there's skill. But I think you're right, Sean, is, he'd probably, does play better, when he's given a bit more time. You're also given more decisions, as in fouls and stuff, in the Premier League than you are in the Championship. And it's taken him over a full season to learn that. He's only just starting to not go down for silly fouls now, kind of thing. So yeah, you're right. He probably would be better in the Premier League.
I'm going back to when he was in the Premier League. He had that kind of flair and oomph about him. He was getting goals and getting assists. Then obviously, under the circumstances, about the transfer request that time, and everyone was on his back. And then, he always had that kind of whine about him when he went down to the referees and then etc. And he started to mature. That kind of started to change. And we've said it in past videos. He was putting social media posts up, and Somerville was commenting on them saying, I'm going to pass you the mantle, basically, the torch. It's all yours now. And he hasn't done that. But I started to see a maturity in him throughout his gameplay. But you just see him now, he's half-arsed. He's not very interested. He's getting greedy on the ball. So I'm going to sound like Gary Barlow of X Factor when I say this, but he's matured like a bad curry at the minute. That's the way that it is. It's not been playing silent with Gnonto at all. And as Evie said, Swansea's the last time that he really turned it around. And I said that to you, Darren, when he came on and scored. It was good to have that competition in the team between four wingers competing each week for a place to start or to make an impact in the game. And I was loving that, even if Gnonto was coming on. And don't get me wrong, he is still great and stuff. I'm not saying he played, like he did play bad today, but I'm not saying that he's doing anything drastic. He's just not doing enough, or he's trying too hard. That's what it is with Gnonto at the minute. And to be quite honest with you, even his facial expressions over the last couple of weeks, when we've won, he hasn't looked happy.
Even when he was taken off, Dylan, when he was substitution, you could see it in his face. Yeah. And it's like you've had nearly 88 minutes to impact the game, and you haven't. You can't be making a face that you're going to change the game with 2 minutes to go. Like.
The last thing I'll tell you now when it comes to Gnonto, whoever they put that comment up about the Saudi information and everyone knows about it, and you see his face like that when he's coming out the field. Lads, I wouldn't be surprised if he's here come the end of January, I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, lads. I think the feeling from Gnonto, and I don't know if it is with handing in the transfer request last season, but I always feel like Gnonto's like 1 foot out the door. I don't know if you get that feeling.
Yeah, that's the vibe, yeah.
It feels like he's not fully invested in Leeds United. And us as Leeds fans, I think we all get it, is that anyone that throws on that white shirt and plays for Leeds United, we want to give them 110%, and we want the same back as well. And I don't really feel that from Gnonto. And I don't know if it is because of the transfer request, and I don't know if that's, unwarranted, or that's just me because he done what he done. But I always kind of just get that vibe from him that he isn't just fully Leeds. He isn't just here for the best of Leeds. I feel like he's just here from Willy Gnonto to play his best game, to try and get the move on, exactly like what Sean said. But tonight, lads, he played against a League 2 side, and he didn't pull up any trays. And I think that's a real concern for Leeds United. When you talk about the assets that we have in this Leeds United squad, I know we talk about Premier League, but we obviously talk about Melier as well and protecting their assets and stuff like that as well. He plays like that tonight. He hasn't done his value real justice, Evie, has he?
No, I think the problem is, everybody said, football fans are fickle, and yeah, we all are. But I think we've also, Leeds fans especially, we're a bit like elephants in the fact that we don't forget. And, we absolutely love this team. And it's a job for any footballer, and anybody who says, they love, a player, insert player, Archie Gray included, loves the club. They have a very short career, so they are always going to put their own needs first. You get very few players. And, yes, everybody knows that I have a massive love for Dan James. But for me, it's what he embodies. It's an old school type of footballer in the fact that he leaves everything. He may not be as technically gifted as Solomon or as Gnonto, but give me Dan James all day, every day, because he won't stop fighting. He is fully committed, and he will never walk off the pitch not giving you 100%. Whether that 100% is actually good enough is debatable at times. So I'm not saying that he is the best player, but I want somebody who has heart, and we're quite damaged goods as Leeds fans in the fact that we've seen a lot of ups and downs, and we are quite we are so quick to go to that quite hostile view of players as soon as they don't do something right. And I think Gnonto is a victim of his own actions, because we will never, every single transfer window that he is here, even if we were back in the Prem, he would always be the one that we'll always be looking at, thinking, is he pushing for a move? And I think that, and that's why I said that regardless of our situation, I think he's gone in summer, because of the fact that it's quite tarnished. Like, the relationship is tarnished, and I think it's going to be difficult. And even if we do go up this season, it's not going to be like Bielsa's first season, in my opinion. It's going to be a grind, and we will be in a relegation battle. And I don't know if he's there for it. And I don't want to be in having another transfer window where it's tense and we need all of our players to give 100%. And we're there giving our own toxicity to the players, thinking, you don't even want to be here. And he might not actually be like that anymore, but he's created that issue himself. So for me, I think I would like him to go. Not like now. I don't want him to go in January, but I just think he will never be our player regardless. He could sign another contract extension at the end of the season, and I just don't see him as a Leeds player. And,
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead, Sean, buddy.
And to chat as well. Right now, and what you've seen from Gnonto, what would you value him at? If right now, going off the eye test of this season, what's his value?
Dillo, you go.
Truthful value.
No, Dillo, what would you say? Look, realistically, if someone came in with a bid for Willy Gnonto, realistically,
to take it, like,
what do you think his value is? Because
someone came in for Gnonto right now, what would you accept?
What do you think his value is right now?
50, probably 20.
Really?
Ceiling go higher.
He ain't played like a £20 million player though. That's what I'm trying to get.
That's the issue, Sean. Evie, what would you value his performance?
Oh no, it's not worth.
You look at Premier League Gnonto, you're saying 20 plus. This Premier League Gnonto, you're probably looking at 10 plus.
Well, I just had a look. So Transfermarkt has got him as 18 million euros.
Wow. So what's that? Is that 15?
About 15.
About 15. Yeah.
But
15.
It's how important, transfer actual numbers on these websites mean jack, because of the fact that it's what that player is worth to the club. But he's our fourth choice winger right now. So how much is he actually worth to us right now? If Dan James was injured, that would cause us way more issues than Gnonto being injured. I would always put a premium because we're Leeds United. A bit like, Chelsea put premiums on, all of these teams put premiums on because they're buying or selling a player from that specific club. The same as if he was to go, if it was a normal, just, Crystal Palace, for instance, somebody like that, 12 to 15 million, probably. But if he was going to Scum, 30 million. No questions asked. No, but I'm not even. I'm not even saying that. I'm
Yeah,
not
no,
even
you're
saying
right.
that to
though,
be
yeah.
ironic. I'm saying that because of the fact that
Yeah.
we need to make back some of the money that we got overcharged for Dan James for.
Mm.
When
And
we should
we
have
need to
had
make
him
money back
originally.
for Cantona as well. So we need to just
Exactly.
Yeah, we do, yeah.
And for whatchamacallit, Ferdinand. I know he was obviously he was one of them. He was the most expensive centre back at the time in
Not
the
enough.
world, right
Not
then.
enough.
But yeah, when you're selling to the wrong side of the Pennines, you need to be adding a ridiculous premium onto that. And their ownership is that daft that they would do it as well. So I don't know. He's a player that throws his dummy out when he doesn't get his own way. So he's a perfect scum player if you think about it.
I love that
Chelsea be good for him as well.
Evie always signs off with the perfect, doesn't she?
Yeah, it rolls off the tongue.
It's
Just,
easy, yeah, look, Evie, I can't disagree with you as well. Like what I said before, it always just feels like with Willy Gnonto for me, it's always 1 foot out the door. And even if he signs a 5-year contract here and we give him the number 7 short and he's our number 1 and that's it, it never really feels like he's one of us. It never really feels like he's ours because of what he's done. I don't think he'll ever win back the full trust of the fan base. But he's just not doing it for me. And you hit the nail on the head, Evie, and it's something that I didn't think about. If you pick if James is going to be injured or Gnonto's going to be injured, who's the bigger casualty for me? It's James every day of the week because Gnonto just isn't pulling up any trees this week. And it goes back to what Sean said, and it's a little bit like the Meslier situation is we look at these as our prized assets in Leeds United. We look at their value, that these are assets that we're going to sell on. And the club have said this about Meslier as well. This season, Meslier and Gnonto, they're not doing their value or their assets any justice to the football club. They're devaluing them, aren't they? So yeah, he's definitely very much the fourth striker for us. And you see him against the League Two side there today. He didn't do enough. Dillo, if you want to add on Willy Gnonto before we move on.
Really, to be honest, he's just needs to. No, he's just wrecking me head over the last couple of weeks. Really is.
You've banged the drum about Gnonto for a long time.
It's just going on enough. Like you want that competition. That's what I love. I don't mind if players coming on and they're not playing well. Like what you said there about DJ. You know, it's not. But he does wear his heart on his sleeve, and you can see that in him.
He gives it.
Run all day.
Yeah.
You know, and that's all I want. But he's just not doing that. You just want competition at the end of the day. If the lads aren't doing it in the first half or 70th minute mark, I should say, you want players coming on to make an impact, and he just hasn't been doing that.
Yeah. Don't you think it's quite ironic that, from my personal opinion anyway, and this is somebody who I kind of was quite brutal on. Brendan Aronson feels more like our player than Willy Gnonto did, and Brendan Aronson left for an entire season. But for me, I think he has learnt from the error of his ways in terms of the grass isn't always greener somewhere else kind of thing. And he failed, in where was he at? German club.
Union Berlin.
Union Berlin. Yeah. So for me, Brendan Aronson has proved his worth more than Willy Gnonto has since he went on strike last season.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But that's mad, Evie. That's mad to say because obviously Gnonto just handed in a request. He was obviously kicked back to the 21s. Aronson actually left but came back and gave a little bit more than what Gnonto was given, and he actually stayed here. So yeah, it's a great point. The next one I do want to touch on, lads, Matteo Joseph was given a really big opportunity today. He started against the League Two side. I think we all thought this is the opportunity for him. Grab the short back, put a little bit of pressure on Joe Pirro. Sean, I'll come to you. Joseph's performance tonight, what did you think?
Well, we touched on that. It's trying too hard, isn't it? Gets frustrated too easy with himself, probably snatching at stuff. I mean, if that goal had gone in when he hit the post, I think we'd have seen a different Joseph at rest at game. It'd have been more confident.
Fine line, in it, yeah.
It is a fine
I think that's all he needs. Sorry for cutting you off. He just needs a goal.
It is all he needs. He just needs a couple of goals. But it's just proved to me we do need another striker in the team now, definitely.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I said it a few weeks ago. It's just disappointing. Depending who we get next round in the FA Cup, I think that's probably next time we'll see him starting. It will be the next FA Cup game. I think Pirro's obviously going to, if fit, he's nailed down that spot now.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping the 49ers can see it and Farke can see it, and we're not I'll say the name. We're not putting all those hopes on Bamford again. And
Yeah, all right, Evie.
And I hope they can see it.
I
And
can feel a headache coming on.
Yeah.
The headache's brewing.
And put me in a darkened room.
Yeah. And I've said this, get another number 9. And then I'd have Joseph as the third choice then until he gets his confidence up and a bit of form. And we know he's a good player. He's got it in him. You know what I'm thinking? Maybe, after that Chelsea game, he didn't play, did he? He didn't play him for a while. And I think that's really affected him.
Yeah.
Keep going back to it because he'd have been so high in confidence after that game. And then for Daniel Farke to drop him for so many games, then I do think he hadn't come back from that, really. I mean, he did all right in pre-season, didn't he? He got a couple of goals, but I think it's on Farke a little bit, the way he's playing. But again, he's only a young lad, isn't he? And there is plenty of time. I don't want him to go, and just think we need somebody else. And it's proving it every time I see Joseph playing now. We need a different option to fight for that number 9 spot with Pirro.
Yeah, I agree. If you come to you, Adrian Carney says here, get a striker in big time.
Yeah.
Last week, after Hull, it was very much get a goalkeeper in. This week, it's very much get a striker in. The January window obviously is open. Leeds haven't made moves. We see Burnley doing bits, Sheffield United doing bits, Sunderland are doing bits. Leeds haven't moved yet. What do you want Leeds United to do versus what you think we'll actually do?
Unfortunately, we've had issues with the striker for years in terms of the same thing that's happened with Meslier happened with Bamford. There's been no actual cohesive competition for him, and the same thing is going to happen with Joseph. So by that, I mean, we know that Bamford has had a poor injury record. He's had it his whole career. So it wasn't something that has just happened at Leeds. It happened at Middlesbrough, it happened at other clubs. We know that. But the club was negligent. So the owners at the time were negligent because it shouldn't be 2025 and we're still basing our hopes on his prime season was the first season back in the Premier League. That was 5 years ago. And we're still basing our hopes and dreams of promotion on a striker through no fault of his own. You take out his lack of consistent finishing out of the equation. It is not his fault that he is an injury-prone player. And it's nothing to do with him being at Leeds. He has been like it his entire career. He has struggled with injuries and long-term injuries. I agree. I actually think that Bamford has been made a scapegoat. That doesn't mean that I want Bamford to be a starting player. I don't. But I do think that it's been kind of a amalgamation of Bamford, poor fitness,
on the club.
poor finishing, and also the club not giving him an actual competitor. So actually, if you think about that mentally, Bamford has all of that pressure because he knows he's the only starting number 9. So then he's rushing himself. We saw it at the Brentford 2-2 game when he got injured celebrating, the most ironic thing. And then in pre-season for last year, he pulled his hamstring by getting a ball to the face. These just things that have made, Bamford and the club a bit of a laughing stock because of the fact that only Bamford could get injured in these particular ways. And Joseph is having the same amount of pressure that a 31-year-old now
experienced striker.
Experienced striker that has played for practically every team in the bloody championship at some point or another. And you're putting that kind of pressure on a 21-year-old young lad whose first language isn't English. I know he's half English, but his first language isn't English. So you're putting that pressure on a
heavy short, Davey, isn't it? It's a heavy short.
And then that's even taking out the expectation that it's a Leeds shirt. That's just be a promotion hopeful number 9, and be their starting 1. That's not fair. We need to forget Bamford because yes, he's going to be a burden on the wages. We know that. That's just something that we have to deal with. And the whole stealing a living, yes, but we can't let the fact that he is going to continue costing us to sway us from moving for a striker in January. Because you take Bamford out of the equation because he's very rarely in the equation. You've got Joel Pirro, who wasn't even in the squad today because he's got a muscular issue. And then you've got Joseph, who's snatching at opportunities and then not allowing other teammates to have opportunities because he's so focused on getting his goal so that he doesn't become a disappointment, that he actually ruins the opportunities for his teammates. And then that gets rid of the whole side before self situation. It's just, we need a striker. There's no if, no buts. We have to get one, and we have to get a 10 because we also missed Aronson today as well. And if Aronson goes off the boil or picks up an injury, Pirro, Dan James, and Aronson get injured, we're not getting top 2.
No.
And that, like, when you say it like that, Evie, it's a real probability. I talked about it with Ger Lynch as well on The View, and he said about Rodon as well, and it's something that I didn't think about before. He said if Rodon gets injured as well, who's our backup? Who goes in there as well? So it's all these situations. Ampadu goes back there, then you're taking all the midfield, so you're moving a lot of people around to try and cover square pegs around holes.
It's just getting messy though.
Aronson the same one today. Like, I thought Aronson might have started today, didn't he? It looked like he started with Solomon, and then there was a lot of interchange there that didn't really seem to work. So I agree with you, Evie. Like, it's going to come down very much to the Rutter situation as well after the March international break, when Rutter came back after the hernia operation. He just wasn't the same as well again, and that could very easily happen to Aronson. Like what you said, it could be a suspension, an injury, or just completely just go off the boil. Like, his legs is gone. And Sean, I'll put the point to you about the January window. It feels like everyone else is making the moves, bar Leeds United. Are you worried at the minute that Leeds just aren't doing enough?
Yes. It's the same transfer window as we always have. Why do we have to wait so long? I mean, I don't want to see Ampadu playing in defence either.
Me too, buddy. Yeah, me too.
I don't. Even going off, when we crumbled at the end of last season, when we were in that defence, it worked for a while, but no, he's a better midfielder. I'm really worried. I can't at the minute. I can't see us signing anybody, and I know we've got links, and that's normal. Do I trust Daniel Farke to sign some players? No, not at the minute. We need them. It's plain to see. We can all see it. Like you said, Sheffield United are signing players. They do need players. They've got a lot of injuries. We just need players to bolster. As backup for us, starting 11. To me, it's a no-brainer. You take the gamble. You only have to spend 15 million. You don't even have to go buy players who are, 15, 20 million. We're not asking for that. You can still get good players.
I agree, Sean. Yeah.
In the positions we want in, to just get us over the line. Get us over the line. Get into the Premiership. Then we'll worry about it. It's worth the gamble. Look at the finances we'll get in the Premier League. The new stadium, that's not going to happen until we get up there. It's everything's geared for getting promoted this season, and spending 20 million, 15, 20 million, it's a no-brainer for me. No-brainer. It's worth the gamble because we're in a good spot. And this were the worry, wasn't it? If we were top in January, would the 49ers and Farke think, well, we've got enough? Look at where we are. But we're only just.
Yeah, I think that's the difference, though. I think if we were, you make a really good point, because I think if we were maybe you add the Melier games back onto that, and that obviously gives us another 4 points, so we'd be 5 points clear at the top. And that's just, I'm only counting, I'm being very generous and saying that he's only cost us 4 points when we all know that it's more. But you add Sunderland and Hull back onto it, and we're 5 points clear. And I think that there is a potential that they do take that gamble. But I think because from 4th to 1st, there's only 3 points in it, I think they do buy. I really do, because they make no money. It doesn't suit them in the slightest, because we've lost money as a club. So even if they were to pack up and go home, they would have lost tens of millions of pounds. So it doesn't make sense for them to not, go for it. because they're going to lose money. So this whole like the stripping of assets and things that people
Don't
like to
agree.
go on about, it doesn't. Our biggest stars were Gnonto and Meslier, and they're not worth anything in comparison to what Meslier for me should have gone at the end of summer.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, I really do think that he should have done, for everybody's sake, because this is what's happening. You know, there's that, what's the Batman phrase? You either die the hero or live long enough to become the villain. And unfortunately,
love that.
that's kind of what has happened with Meslier, is the fact that, you know, he went from scraping survival in the 21-22 season to now he's costing us promotion. You know, like it's just, he doesn't deserve that either, because it's not his fault that he's had no competition either, you know. So we've done the same with our strikers that we've done with our goalkeeper, and then we wonder why we constantly have goalkeeping and striking issues, because we don't actually recruit properly. And that's not on the 49ers, that, you know, that's not on you know, just on Orta. This has been decades worth of, you know, poor recruiting, essentially. So it's just kind of systematic when it comes to Leeds United and having good recruitment.
Just feels like it's just us all the time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does.
Every other team gets it right, and we're just.
But it cost us last season because we didn't get anyone in January.
Causes
We
us.
must-
Now's
we
the
must
time
have
to
a
do
great-
it. Like,
We've got a great scouting team. We must
But-
have.
I can feel the hair standing up on my neck, and
Especially with
thinking
Sean,
about-
what you said. We like Leeds are notorious for our academy. The players that have came to our academy from even the early 2000s, you could go back further than that into the 90s. Some of the players that have came through the Leeds United Academy, unbelievable. But the recruitment, I think, from Leeds United, like in the last one, and especially the young players, the way we treat young players, and again, we could get onto it, like with Charlie Cresswell and stuff like that, just hasn't been good enough. But I have a really good one that I want to put out here. Adrian Carney does turn around and said, "Are you happy with the coaching?" And it's something that I don't think that has been asked enough. Evie, I'm gonna come to you first. Daniel Farke this season, what have you made of him?
I like him. I do think he's frustrating, but I think you could put any manager in there and he would be frustrating. You know, we always remember Bielsa with kind of these white rose tinted glasses, that he, you know, is the Lord and the Savior and didn't do anything wrong, when he was the same bloke that brought on whatchamacallit. Oh God, his name Tyler Roberts, who is now playing in what, League One, League Two? Is it Northampton?
Northampton.
Yeah. So it's like he instead of bringing Geldhart on, who kept on, you know, showing promise at that point, he kept on bringing Tyler Roberts on. So every manager makes lives and dies by those decisions, and we get frustrated with Farke with his substitutes. We get frustrated with the fact that he should have taken Meslier out of the firing line probably after Sunderland. You know, I just think that he's the easy target, and again, we have such high standards from Bielsa. And it wasn't just the football; it was the man. It was the way he brought the community back to Leeds United. You know, it's just going to be so difficult for us ever to replace him. And even 4 years down the line, we still can't replace him. But Daniel Farke is a good manager at this level, and he hasn't had the right backing in the Premier League. If it's going tits up 10 games in, get him gone. I'm not sentimental kind of thing, you know, but
I agree, yeah.
I also want him to be given a chance. And I actually think Farke football in the Premier League would be a lot more successful, because we're not going to be facing a low block 22 games, you know, 46 games a year, are we? You know, we're going to be facing, you know, Man City, we're going to be facing Liverpool, we're going to be facing Man U if they're not relegated. You know, all of these things. The football will be better in the Premier League, but we do have to get there first, and that for me is on. That for me is on January recruitment, because I think that we I think that we could still make.
You want to hear what she said about him too, Joe?
No, I wouldn't say anything bad about Tanaka.
Money best. Sorry,
Uh,
Joe.
I think all them Farke outs though, like he's have to come a little bit of slack, considering with Bielsa when he got sacked, to the amount of managers that we had from Marsh to Gareth, Javier, whatever you call him, Sam Allardyce, everyone. It was real messy, and it feels like a marriage that ended with Bielsa, and they had to try and pick up everything. So when Farke came in, lads, like the club was in a bad way. It was in a very bad way, and I don't think he should be given a good pat on the back considering how well we've come. 90 points last season. If we had Tanaka, the possibility we could probably be in the Premier League now. And then like that, we didn't get anyone in January last season. So now's the time to do it. But for all the Farke outs, he's done a great job so far. And only time will tell if we get into the Premier League, if he's the man for the job. But I'm happy with what he's done.
Don't you think it's funny? Some of the people that are all like, Farke should be achieving more with this squad are the same people that saying, well, we need to buy more in January. We need to buy a striker. Well, hang on. You can't have it both ways. You can't say Farke should be doing better than top of the league with this squad, because if this squad is as amazing as you're making it out to be, we wouldn't need to improve, because we'd have absolutely everything that a manager could possibly need. And we do need new players, which means that Farke doesn't have the perfect squad, which means that he has to make do with the players that he's got. So therefore, he is doing a good job because he doesn't have all of the tools that he needs. If we get a number 10, if we get a striker, and if we get a new centre-back, and Farke fails to get us in top 2, then he has failed, and that is on the manager 100%.
Yeah.
But you can't have it both ways. You can't say this squad is the best squad, but we desperately need this player, and this player. Well, it's not the best squad then, is it?
Yeah,
he's doing everything he needs to do. Look at, if we hadn't have had the mistakes we'd had this season, i.e. Solomon tripping over at Burnley and Melier dropping the 2 clangers, that's 6 points. There we're better off. Would we be having the same conversation? We'll be 7 points clear, won't we? Going back to the Bielsa thing, for me, there's no comparison. I've got no love for Farke. As long as he gets my football team back into the Premier League, I'm happy. And yes, he'll get his chance and hope the 49ers back him. But Bielsa were a different man. He was different in the way he spoke. Look at his press conferences. I could listen to Bielsa all day long talking. Yeah, I'm turning it off after 3 minutes, 4 minutes of a press conference with Farke, because he just waffles and sometimes trips himself up and contradicts himself all the time.
He keeps calling out Eddie Howe. Do you ever hear him? Yeah. It sounds like he's saying Eddie Howe, but he's saying anyhow. Every time he says something, I keep thinking it sounds like he's saying, listen to it the next time, though. You hear it here first. Watch the press conference.
The reason why Dylan does that, because obviously we started up only Leeds Bros, and we obviously have our own task, right? I'll do this and you do that. So he said to Dylan, right, your job is to listen to Daniel Farke's press conference. I won't listen to it. So when we're doing our match build up, you're basically educating me. Oh, Dylan, anytime we're doing a match build up, he goes, anyhow. He said, anyhow.
I say, he has an awful obsession with Eddie Howe for some reason. I don't know why. Anyhow.
But Sean, I agree, and it is like one of them that obviously went up with Bielsa, and we fell in love with him when we have him on this pedestal. It just feels like even if we do go up the season, Farke is never going to be there, isn't he? No, he's never going to be.
He's not getting a statue outside ground or anything like that.
He's not going to be a Don Revy. He's not going to be a Wilco. No. He's not going to be a Bielsa. And it's mad to say that, though, isn't it? Because if he gets us out of this division, you should be putting him on the same, because he's done the exact same as what Bielsa done. And
if we win the Premier League under him, I'll change my mind.
No, John, he's going to win the
Champions League. It'd be Farke White, will it?
I'll get a tattoo. But,
as
long as he gets us up, that's all I'm bothered about.
Yeah, I know, I agree.
And he's doing fine. He's doing fine.
As what Evie touched on there, when we do go to the Premier League, and obviously this is foreseen, but it is a question that's going to be out there. What do you think, Sean, that the 49ers are going to be like? Because I'm very much on, like, he was on a very loose rope last season. Given the situation of the football club coming down, they obviously gave him the time. This season, I think he's under a little bit of a tight leash, but I even think more so next season, if we do go up with champions and we win the league, and whether it is by 10 points or whatever it may be, I do feel like Farke next season is going to be on a tighter rope. I do what Evie said. I think 10 games. I really do think 10 games into the Premier League season that they'll have their eye on that. As what Eve said, it's imperative that Leeds go up this season, and I think the 49ers will make it happen. But when you look at the investment that's around the 49ers, you know, we see all these celebrities, Will Ferrell and, you know, Jordan Spieth and all these golfers and all that investing. It's imperative that it does happen. Do you feel like that you will be on a shorter leash next season?
Yep, definitely. Yeah, of course. There's too much at stake. 49ers are they're very shrewd businessmen out there, and they've got a plan. Yeah. And I'll say it again: the stadium build, all this is geared to us being in the Premier League long term, not just for one season. Yeah, I agree. 10 games. I think they'll give him the money to spend. I think we'll get the players in.
Me too. Yeah.
But yeah, 10 games in. If we're down there will be changes. I can definitely see it, and I think us as fans will be screaming out for it as well. If it's not going right, with good backing, I know it didn't work out for him last time with Norwich, but with the backing that they will give him, maybe it will do a lot better. As long as we're mid-table or 16th, 17th, it is going to be a struggle next season. So enjoy this season while you can. That's what I'm going to say to a lot of fans who are throwing negative comments out. Enjoy it while you can, because it's going to get a lot tougher, trust me, next season if we get promoted.
Sean, you made a shakes there.
I think the collar is very tight on him as it is. Leeds aren't good this year, lads.
Did they say it was a 3-year plan to get promoted? To a 3-year plan?
Did you say 2, Sean?
I thought it was 2.
Or was that Radrazani?
No, I think it was 2-year plan.
2-year plan.
2-year plan.
Yeah.
So this year we've got to go up, haven't we?
I think so.
If we didn't, would you make a change?
Yeah. I think so.
Then
Yeah,
I'll
would
have
you?
to, 2 years.
Yeah, I would as well.
You'd have to.
Yeah. I really like Farke, but for me, if he doesn't get us up at all, he's gone.
God, everyone's saying 2-year plan.
2-year plan.
If he
No one's
doesn't
letting him
get
forget
us
it.
up, if he doesn't get us up this season, we will be. We have to get rid of him. There's a thing that even if he gets us up, but we go up through the playoffs, there's a potential that I would even maybe give him the heave-ho after we win. And I know that sounds brutal, but that means we've fallen off. We are currently over halfway through the season and we're top of the league. I know it's tight, but in theory, I know it's easier said than done. But if we just win all of our games, nobody else's points matter because we've just done our job.
Yep.
That's not going to happen. I know that I'm saying it to be a little bit kind of facetious, but like at the end of the day, it's us that matter. Last year, we had to hope and pray that Ipswich, Southampton and Leicester all messed up to even be in the conversation. Whereas this year, everybody else has to hope we mess up. And, obviously we have dropped points, but we're still top even with those ridiculous howlers. You imagine, Melier making those howlers last year, that means that we don't even potentially get top 6 last year kind of thing, if he does that. And so for me, if we go up and it's through the playoffs, I would potentially give him the heave-ho and get somebody else in. Because I do think that we have a top 2 squad. And I do think that the league is weaker. But we have to... saying that, if the 49ers give him nobody in this transfer window, we drop out of automatics and Farke gets us up through playoffs, then I would give him a chance. Because he's been let down by the 49ers in that. But if the 49ers back him in this window... and we still go up via playoffs, for me, he's almost failed, kind of thing. He's he's won by luck rather than actually utilising the players he's been given. So
I think that's right. I've got no faith in Farke in the Premier League, and that's just going off what he's done previously, and that's all we can go off, isn't it? And I think you're right, Evie. Even if we go up for playoffs, it'd be a big call to not sack him, but that's all on the 49ers and how ambitious they want to be. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Evie.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with what Evie's saying. That if it does, especially the whole nerves that's around the playoffs again. Like if it is, you have your.
I just don't want to do it again.
I can't do it, lads. Can use.
I'm not going to Wembley this year. Guarantee, I'm not going.
I'm going. Sean, we said at this time that last season we were very close to a ticket. I think it was something like 500 quid, and had it there, and I turned it down last minute. But I just said this time if it comes up again, I'm gonna go do it. But I can't go through the nerves again at the playoffs, the semi-finals as well. Again, I know away at Carrow Road was a nightmare. At Ellen Road was unbelievable. Probably one of my best experiences in Ellen Road, that playoff semi-final, unbelievable. But the heartache at Wembley again, we watched it in Dublin. It's a big Leeds centre at Camden. A lot of the Irish would know where a lot of Leeds congregate to watch Leeds games. And I remember just walking out there just being absolutely heartbroken. And I can't go through that same situation again at the playoffs. But what Evie said, it might be the romance of it. And when you put the feelings aside, if we do go do it, Evie, if we do win at Wembley, could you imagine the euphoria that would be around it, that we've eventually done it at Wembley?
It would be the first time we've scored in Wembley, let alone win. We haven't scored a goal in the new Wembley. So it's...
We'll all be celebrating outside Wembley, even if we get a goal.
Yeah, exactly. We don't. Yeah, exactly. We don't even have to get promoted as long as we just, it'd be the whole ironic cheers of we scored a goal kind of thing.
I was talking to Matty. We all know him, Sean, Evie, Dillo. Matty from Imagine Not Being Leeds, and he was at the playoff final in Wembley, and he turned around and said to me, he said, that was my first time ever going down to Wembley. He said, my dream was just to go see Leeds play at Wembley, not to win at Wembley. Just to go see Leeds play at Wembley, never mind scores. He was like, if Leeds have even scored, he said, if Dan James had scored that goal and Leeds lost that in playoffs, he said, I would have came out with pure euphoria. And he said, and I did. He said, I walked out last night and probably the happiest Leeds fan gone, I was here today. I was seeing Leeds play at Wembley, and I'd probably be the same. I'd be like, if Leeds had went and got pumped 3 or 4-0, I probably would have walked out gone, I was seeing Leeds at Wembley. My first ever Leeds game, we got bet 4-0 against Sheffield United. Warnock was in charge of them, and Kevin Blackwell was in charge of us. And I still walked out of Ellen Road going, yeah, I'm a Leeds fan. I love this place out, singing, marching on together. So it's just, I suppose, as Leeds fans, we always bounce back. But I think this season, Farke, he just has to do it, doesn't he? He has to do top 2 this season with the backing that he's got. I know the 49ers just about done it. We had a horrific summer window. We've seen a lot of our players go out the door. We just about done enough before it closed. But he has been given the tools, lads, hasn't he? He has been given it to go and get out of this league this season. Will they back him again in the January window? Remains to be seen. It's up to the 49ers whether they are going to do it. But I'm going to go around the room. Dillo, where we are at the minute, obviously, look, we're a point. We're top of the league. Are you confident that Leeds United do it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. He has, as you said, he has the tools there to do it.
Top 2? Top 2?
1.
Yeah. Comfortable or squeak?
There's definitely going to be a few squeaks along the line. There's always squeaks. No, it's Leeds, lads. Come on. It's Leeds. Yeah, but it'd be similar to kind of when we did get promoted, Swansea. A few games to go. Someone scores a goal that would be remembered forever.
Yeah.
And probably the last goal that got us out of the Championship, and we'll never have to look at this league ever again. But yeah, look, I think we'll win and we'll well.
That's what it feels like, Dillo. I don't know what about you and Evie, Sean, but it feels like to me that if Leeds get out of it this season, it feels like we're never coming back.
No, this is it.
Like, why does it feel like that? I feel like if we do it, that's probably naive. That's probably the Leeds blinkers, the Leeds goggles on. But it feels like with the 49ers, with the stadium plans, the backing they have, it just feels like if Leeds do it this season, it's just like, yeah, bye Championship, we're never seeing you again. Sean, we'll come to you. Are you confident we do it? And how much, boy?
Dillo just said it's Leeds. We're going up. It's Leeds. The Leedsy thing is for us to not go up and to lose out by a point or something daft like that.
No, don't be saying that.
Yes, I think we will. I don't think we'll get. At the minute, I'm not sure we'll get that if we'll get top spot. Obviously, I'd love us to.
Yeah.
Ask me the question after the January transfer window. Ask me that again. Because for me, it's depending who we sign. If we're sticking with this squad we've got at the minute, I could see us struggling to get the top two, or even the top two. So I'm not as confident as you are, Dilo and Darren. Honestly,
Sean, you know me. I'm not really the confident one at all. I'm the typical Leedsy fan. You know,
it's just the Leedsy thing. Yeah. We've seen it time and time again that we could just mess it up and we'll do it to ourselves. And
I believe this time, Sean, because simply we can't afford it.
The only team to beat Leeds is Leeds United this season, and we've seen it a few times. At the minute, we're all right. I need to see some action in the January transfer window, and I need to see a few players playing a little bit better, i.e. Gnonto, Joseph, Melier, if he's back. And then I'll make my decision then. And that's where I'm sitting on it.
I think we can't afford it this year. I think overall, across the park, players, manager, coach and staff, even the fans, the community of Leeds. Sorry,
I just did what Evie done last night to Danny.
I'm not being negative. I just feel like I've seen
damage.
it before. It's always a Leeds thing to
when I come over for the Cardiff game in February, I'll put my arms around you. Just tell you everything. Okay.
I do need a cuddle, Dilo.
Yeah,
I need a cuddle.
Just to let you know everything's going to be okay. A pat, I'll get you a point.
It is very cold, to be fair. So, yeah.
I'll give you a pat on the back and put you a point and I'll tell you everything's going to be okay. We'll sing Martin out together and repeat.
Evie, what you're feeling? Do we go up and we how much man?
I think that if we get players in the January, I think we win the league. I think if we don't, I still think that we have enough to get top two, but I don't think we win the league. I think it'll be very, very touch and go. Whereas I think if we get people, even if these aren't starters, even if these are people that are bench options, game changers that we needed so desperately at the end of last season, somebody to just come on and say, you know what, feck this, lads, like, let's go, let's do it kind of thing. A Rafinha type kind of player to take it by the scruff of I'm not saying that we're going to get somebody of Rafinha's quality. I just mean that kind of attitude of, I'll take this game by the scruff of the neck and I will do this, like Pablo and things that we just need that person that will give the players a cuddle sometimes and that will come on and we'll just say, it's all right, lads, I've got you, don't worry. Let's cry afterwards, but let's
It's all right, Sean. It's okay, but I have you.
I need that gap. That's what I need. If we need 3 points if we need to win the last game of season away at Plymouth to get promoted.
See, Matty does it for me. Matty throws his arm around me and tells me everything's going to be okay. So I'll do it for you.
He's messing it up completely, but I need to see that gap.
I just think as well, I think Sky put out a stat that the only team to have ever not been promoted automatically, to have not gone up at all when they were 3 points clear at Christmas were Leeds United in the 18-19 season. So the fact that it was Christmas, we were 3 points clear, absolutely just gave me shudders down the back of my spine, because I thought, oh God, this is, people say about, Spurs things, going all Spursy and things like that. No, Leeds are the actual team that do that kind of thing. They give you so much joy and, you're just loving life, and then they just take it away, suck the life out of you and leave you on the curb feeling ashamed and a bit disgruntled. So, it's just, this is what Leeds United does to us. And yet we all volunteer to, be here and do it.
It's mad, isn't it? Don't be a Leeds fan.
Maybe we love the misery. We just love the misery, don't we?
I don't see the sunshine, across the bridge it's just darkness the whole time because of Leeds. But I'm used to it. So when the good times do come, I can put a smile on and say, even the lads in work, you're so miserable. I know, I'm happy. Leave me alone. It's the way I've been because of it. But no, look, it's just Leeds in general. They put us through it, but like you can't stop loving them. It's all that bit of enjoyment that we all get. Puts a smile on my face, helps with my mental health.
But that's why we've got to enjoy it, because look at Southampton, look at Leicester, look at Everton, look at Ipswich. It's awful.
Isn't it great though? Isn't it? They were celebrating. Isn't it great though?
It just takes the mick because Southampton, we would have done a better job. So what was the point of them getting promoted? They've been in the Premier League to be the absolute whipping boy of every. The only win that they get was against Everton. It just absolutely boils my head because I just think we would have done a better job. So
Go on, Evie.
let's just swap. I bet you we could go up now and we would get enough points to stay up, rather than Southampton from, you keep them for the rest of the season. Like, it's just annoying because we actually have a structure and a financial backing that would have meant that we would have stayed up this year. I'm not saying we'd have stayed up comfortably. It would be squeaky bum time, but we'd have stayed up and we'd have looked better than Leicester and we'd have looked better than Southampton and we'd have looked better than Ipswich and Everton. So all of these teams that are circling the plug hole, we would have looked better than them, and it's just annoying.
Many goals, would we? We wouldn't have conceded as many goals as them. Definitely no.
And we wouldn't have lost Somerville, we wouldn't have lost Archie, all these players that have gone on, like Rutter just scored twice today, he scored twice for Brighton.
Still love it.
Even though they lost yesterday, Aston Villa beat West Ham, but Somerville got the assist for the goal for West Ham. So these players, they would have been with us. They would have grown with us. We would have been able to recruit more. We just would have done the Premier League better than any of the teams that have gone up. The only team that are giving it their all are Ipswich. And, fair enough to Ipswich. I really hope they stay up because it would just be nice for the same three that go up, don't just come down. It's Everton's time to come down. But
we would have had a better pull Evie though, wouldn't we? Like Leeds. Again, no disrespect. Look, they bet us fair and square last season, but Leeds would have had a better pull going up, wouldn't they? You would have had a lot more players wanting to come to Leeds rather than going to Ipswich. I do agree. Definitely with what you're saying, 100%. The Leeds would have definitely gave a better crack. Yeah, ultimately probably would have went down at the end of the season. Who's to know? But I definitely agree with you. Was a comment here. Sorry, the last one that I do want to pick your brain on, Evie, is Isaac Schmidt. Before we go, he got his chance today. How do you think he performed? Because this is a big one. This is the one that I wanted to talk about.
He got a game of football. He's a footballer. Other than the first few minutes where obviously, he was a bit rusty and things because of the fact that he's played 26 minutes or something like that all season so far. But I thought he looked really good. I really like his tenacity going forward. And let's face facts, none of our fullbacks can defend very well other than Sam Byram. So we're not losing anything by having Schmidt on, in my opinion. That's why I don't understand why Schmidt didn't play the other day, because what would we have lost by having Schmidt on instead of Verber? Because Verber was crap defensively as well. So at least Schmidt has that speed of getting back and forth, up and down, which is what he, relies on with Bogle and with Firpo. And when Byram's on it, he relies on him with Byram. I do think Byram has improved with his speed and overall fitness. But I'm so happy, genuinely so happy that he got a game and he did well. He didn't throw his chance. Obviously we're looking at Joseph and saying, we now need a new striker. But for me, Schmidt is a good option. He's a good utility player. He, that's absolutely, great. I think more minutes would be needed, obviously, to get him up to scratch. But don't put Ampadu in at right back if Bogle isn't fit. Like,
Yep.
please put Schmidt in. For me, he's done enough to at least give him a try instead of just forcing square pegs in round holes. Let's just put a player who can do that job to the standard that we need it, because we're going to be an attacking team anyway. So we don't need to defend that well.
No.
You know, we just need to get the ball up the other end of the pitch, and Schmidt can do that really well. So yeah, I was very happy that he got like a full game. Very, very happy.
Yeah, I agree. Sean, you buddy, it's obviously a conversation that we've had a lot. Even the last time we were over in Leeds, we were scratching our heads in the mood.
Yep.
How isn't he even playing? He was square peg and round holes when you have the round peg there. What did you make of him today?
I liked him. I was surprised. He's played more at left back than he has right back, so I was surprised he started right back. I would expect him Byram to come in right back and he'd play left back.
Yeah.
But he did fine. I thought he did everything that Bogle does. I thought he got in a few good tackles as well. And he got forward really well. I thought he was good on the ball. Again, what Evie said, he was a little bit rusty to start with. He was always going to be that. And he was playing with a lot of players who were also rusty around him. I'd like to see him even if left back for me, even if Bogle comes back in, I would move him to left back. I would like to see him more at left back. And if you look at his stats from last season when he won here at his old club, his tackle percentage and that, it's actually better than Firpo's. So he is quite good at defending. He is good at defending. He can put in a good tackle. I just hope he gets the chances now. I really do.
Yeah, me too. Dillo, very quick before we wrap up, Isaac Smith, what did you make of him today?
I said man in the match from the get-go. You know, I thought it was quality. I really do. And, you know, I keep going on about it week in, week out about the competition on the bench. And I genuinely think he can compete with Jayden Bogle for that right back position. I have to be honest, you know, don't get me wrong, Bogle's been unreal. There's been a few times that he has dropped. And just like that, if Bogle does start and he's not quite at it, Schmidt coming on, making an impact like that, 100%. So I'm all for it. I think, agree with Evie, Ampadu, right back, no. Just do the right things. You know, it's too much chopping and changing. But yeah, for me, man of the match with Schmidt, loved him. I hope to see more of him.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I thought Smith was a man of the match today, and it just feels like one of them. Yeah, Joe B did say he didn't pull up any trees today, but he was grand. And you look at that,
his job.
Yeah, he done his job exactly what Byram does, and Byram does enough to get into this team. So why, when you have the round peg there, just put him in. Don't change 3 or 4 positions around to try and get your Ampadu in there or your Vober in there. Just play him, give him an opportunity. So let's hope. The last one I'll finish on, lads, I thought it was a great comment, and this probably describes Leeds fan, and we can verify this because Adrian is a long life friend of me dad. So he says, I've only had 7 Hearts procedures, which I can verify for as well, supporting Leeds. They will be the death to me, but we still love the club, and we all have the stories to tell going up. And I agree with him. I agree 100%. Yeah, I'm still confident that we go up, and I can't verify that he has had 7 Heart procedures supporting Leeds United. God. I agree with that. Dillo, Evie, or Sean, anything else to add before we wrap it up, guys?
No, it's going to be interesting. Line up for Sheffield Wednesday now. I'm really can't wait for that.
I'm looking forward to that one. Yeah, looking forward.
I just don't know what he's going to do. I don't think many of us do, but I can't wait for that one. So hopefully, I'm going to try and get to that game as well. So that'll be interesting. And we don't play till Sunday, do we? So we've got a good
Sunday. Yeah, it's a Sunday. Yeah, so we're nice out
Sunday dinner time. So we've got a good rest. I'm surprised Byram had more minutes than he did.
Me too, buddy.
Than he did today.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
I didn't expect him to feature much today, but
looking forward to the next game. But I'm looking forward to Cardiff just because I know it.
That's why I think that it's Schmidt should play more, because of the fact we know that Byram does a good job. We don't have to
see
because Byram's career has been so stop-start. He doesn't actually need to warm up into a game because he just knows how to do it, because that's been his career for decades of stop and start. So he doesn't actually need that warm-up time that certain other players do. So it would be nice. And also, again, just not putting the pressure on Byram or Firpo. You know, we don't want to have to be beholden. Obviously, there's Firpo with contract issues and things. Is Firpo going to give it his all as the later on we get in the summer? If he's not going to sign another contract, you know, is he going to put in those tackles? You know, Schmidt is our player and will be our player next year. So he will want us to get to the Premier League, because I'm pretty sure that he'll have a massive bonus coming if we do get to the Premier League and things like that. So yeah, give him the chance. We know Byram can play, and then we don't have to be beholden to a player that has contract issues as well. I'm not saying that Firpo is that kind of guy, but we've seen it not just with Leeds, but how many players start going off the boil when there's contract issues in the background and stuff and things. So I don't want to be beholden to any individual player. You know, if Firpo's not giving it for whatever reason, we have to have options that are fit and ready to go. So
no one's
give
bigger than
Schmidt
Leeds.
minutes.
Yeah, no one's bigger than Leeds, Evie. That's what I get. Like, someone does want to be here, and if they're talking to another club, well then I totally agree. Sean, we'll come to you, buddy. Sean, we'll go Whites. What's happening over there? Let us know.
I've started doing like a weekly news thing, just to look back on just pick like one article out of one thing out of it every day. There's that much stuff going on, and
especially now in January
and bullshit. And then obviously when I get some more subscribers in, I'm gonna start doing some lives. Obviously with yourselves, lads, and Matty and that, and just trying to grow the channel now, really. But loving what I'm doing, and it's really therapeutic.
It is.
Yes,
it is. Yeah,
I love doing it, and long may it continue.
I
love all your guys, what you're doing.
Thanks very much, Sean. And it is. It's one of them. Like itself, me and Dylan do it. We're just, I think our missus, myself and Dylan, our missus are just absolutely sick. I think I've said it to Evie as well. They're just sick of listening to us talking about Leeds. Well, after a game, like for probably the last 8 years I've been with Amy, come off after a game like that, and I just bombard her for like 7 or 8 hours, and she's just looking at me like, shut up. I'm sure Evie, your husband is the same as well. He's probably just looking at you going, just go do your podcast. Get
he's a massive Leeds fan as well, so it's fine. But
good.
When I'm interested in a topic, I just go full into it. Like I watch.
Really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, I know, right? I just kind of like go full into it, kind of thing. I absolutely love it and obsess over it, and I watch lots of football, not just Leeds. I watch, give me, whatever football is on TV, I will watch it, kind of thing. So, I love talking about it, and I agree with Sean. It's very therapeutic. Sometimes, I'll be so wound up, and like I'll end up coming kind of, coming off, kind of a little bit calmer. Yeah, a little bit calmer.
Sleep well.
You do. You feel a little better. Evie, any what's happening over on Discourse and Peacocks? Let us know, what have you got lined up for the rest of the week?
I'll have a review out tomorrow, and then I'm doing these new videos of 5-minute Fridays. So I have a topic given by people in the comments, or just random things that I think of, and I have 5 minutes because I'm quite a talker. I don't know whether you've noticed that about me, but I have literally 5-minute timer, and that is all the time. I cannot go over talking about whatever subject it is. So yeah, it's my new little thing.
I did see it. It was very good.
I've seen that. Yeah,
it was good.
Very good. Absolutely love it. Again, Sean, Evie, thanks very much for giving up your time and popping on. Myself and Dylan will be back tomorrow night with Matty from Imagine Up in Leeds for the final point, where we sit down, we have a beer, and we digest the previous game. So make sure you pop in for that one. Matty actually is live now, so I am conscious. So pop across there. There are still 75 of you in the building watching this. So make sure you pop across to Matty and give him all the love and support over there. Smash the like and subscribe and all that as well, and keep him going. Both channels are doing great. And again, before you leave our video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe as well. Sorry, my voice is completely gone talking all day. Doing much along as well. Yeah, so we will be back tomorrow, and we'll chat you all again soon. And mind yourselves, and Leeds are into the 4th round. That's all that matters, isn't it? Chat you all again soon.
See you later.